My dog brought me a crumpled receipt, and when I unfolded it, I saw it was from Pandora. $5,000. $5,000 for a necklace. And I stood there staring at that piece of paper, turning it this way, then that, trying to understand how something so expensive, spent at a jewelry store, ended up here at home. I just stood there thinking, trying to understand. This must be a mistake, it can't be true. Because my boyfriend, well, my partner, we're not married, but we've been together for almost 7 years, living together as husband and wife. He's never bought me jewelry, well, I don't remember even once, not a ring, not earrings. Not even one of those cheap Black Friday sales at the jewelry store that's a competitor of Pandora, where you can buy something for $50 or $100. Nothing. And now I'm holding a receipt for a $5,000 necklace. And I checked the last 4 digits of the credit card number, and it's his card. Definitely his other credit card. Not our joint card, by the way. We always saved for household expenses and to pay the mortgage on time, and my hands start shaking because I just know that this necklace isn't for me. There's no way it can be for me. And my dog, Bailey, is sitting there wagging his tail all proud, like he's saying, "Look, Mom, I brought you something nice." I was like, wow, Bailey, you have no idea what you just did. You have no idea what you just showed me. Sorry. I need to stop for a second because I'm getting nervous just thinking about that moment. That exact moment when I realized that everything I thought I knew about my relationship was a lie. Okay. Fine. Let me tell you the whole story from the beginning because it's absolutely insane. And if you've ever found proof that your partner is cheating, you know exactly how I felt. You know that awful feeling in your stomach when your whole world turns upside down in an instant. So, my name is Linda. It's not my real name, but I'm using it for the story. I'm 31 years old, and this happened to me about 6 months ago in Phoenix, Arizona. I lived in this house with my partner Marcus. We had been together for about 7 years, as I said. We met when I was 24 and he was 26, at a friend's birthday party. There was instant chemistry. We started dating, and in less than a year, we moved in together. Everyone always asked when we were going to get married, when he was going to propose. I laughed and said that we didn't need a piece of paper to prove that we loved each other, that we were committed. That's funny now, we don't need a piece of paper to build anything. But a piece of paper is revealing what will be the destruction of everything. But anyway, he said that by building a life together, we didn't need a formal wedding, proving it in front of a judge in court, a solitaire ring and all that, but deep down, I wanted it, I really wanted it. I wanted him to propose, I wanted to be his wife, not just his girlfriend or partner. I wanted that commitment, that public declaration that we were choosing each other forever. But Marcus always had excuses. He said we didn't have the money for a wedding. We don't want to get engaged now. We need to save money to buy a house. We need to pay off debts. There's always something more important than getting engaged. And I believed him. I believed we were building something together. I believed that one day, when the time was right, he would propose, we would get married, and everything would be perfect. We had a good life together, or at least I thought so. We both worked full-time. I'm a dental hygienist at a clinic downtown, and Marcus works in IT at a company called Summit Tech something like that. He earns well more than me, actually, and we split all the bills 50-50, even though he earned more at the time. I thought it was fair, but now, looking back, I realize it wasn't fair at all. I also did all the housework, cooked, did the shopping, all the emotional work of managing our life together, while he would just go to work, come home, and play video games. And I was okay with that, telling myself that's how relationships worked. That women did more housework, that it was normal, that it was expected. But it wasn't fair, none of it was fair. And then there's his mother. Oh my god, his mother. She's the most exhausting person I've ever met in my life. She calls Marcus at least 3 times a day, every single day. And it's always some drama, always some crisis. She has a headache, her back hurts. She saw something on the news that scared her. Her neighbor said something rude, she needs Marcus to come fix something at her house. She needs money for this or that. It's constant. It never stops, and Marcus always answers. He always drops everything to deal with whatever his mom needs. And I'd be sitting there waiting for him to hang up so we could finish our conversation, or go out to dinner, or whatever we had planned. And he'd be on the phone for an hour, 2 hours sometimes, just listening to his mom complain about everything. And if I ever said anything, if I ever suggested maybe he could call her back later, or maybe she could handle some things on her own, he'd get defensive. He'd say that's my mom, I'm not going to ignore my she needs me, and I'd feel guilty. I'd feel like I was being a bad girlfriend for not being more understanding. So I'd shut up and deal with it. I'd sit there quietly while his mom took over our evening, over and over again for 7 years. And you guys, if you have a partner with a really demanding parent, if you have a mother-in-law or a future mother-in-law who's always causing drama, and your partner always takes their side, you know what I'm talking about. You know how exhausting it is. You know how it makes you feel like you're never the priority, like you're always second place to their parent. And it's frustrating, it's so frustrating, but you deal with it because you love them, because you think that's what partners do. They support each other's families even when those families are difficult, right? That's what I told myself anyway. So Bailey, our dog, he's a Labrador mix, about 4 years old. We got him from a shelter when he was a puppy, and he's obsessed with paper, like absolutely obsessed. He loves bringing us paper, bills, receipts, napkins, paper bags, anything made of paper. He finds it and brings it to us like it's the most valuable treasure in the world, and usually, it's just junk mail or old receipts from my purse or napkins from the coffee table. Nothing important, and we'd always laugh and say good boy Bailey. Thank you for the trash, and throw it away. But that day, that Saturday afternoon in April, Bailey brought me something that changed everything. He brought me this receipt that was crumpled up in the bottom of Marcus's gym bag. I don't know how he got into the bag, it was in our bedroom closet. But somehow Bailey found it and pulled it out, and brought it to me while I was folding laundry in the living room. And I took it from him, and I was about to throw it away without looking at it, but something made me stop, something made me smooth it out and actually read it. And that's when I saw it. Pandora jewelry, date from 2 weeks ago, 1 necklace. $5,000 charged to our joint credit card. My heart just stopped, it literally stopped for a second, and I had to sit down on the couch because my legs felt weak. Because I couldn't process what I was seeing. $5,000. That's 2 months of our mortgage payment. That's a huge amount of money, and for jewelry. For a necklace, and I never got a necklace. Marcus has never bought me jewelry, not for my birthday, not for Christmas, not for our anniversary, nothing. He always says jewelry is a waste of money. He says I don't need him. Material things to know he loves me. He says we should save our money for practical things like home repairs and retirement. And I believed him. I thought he was being smart and responsible. But here's this receipt for a $5,000 necklace that he bought 2 weeks ago and never mentioned to me, never gave to me, and I'm thinking okay, maybe it's a surprise. Maybe he's planning to give it to me for our anniversary next month. But $5,000? That's not like him. That's so in lie. Kim, and why would he hide the receipt? Why would it be crumpled up in his gym bag instead of filed away with our other receipts, like he usually does? Nothing about this makes sense. Marcus was at the gym. He goes every Saturday afternoon for a few hours. And I'm sitting there on the couch with this receipt and my phone. And I'm trying to decide what to do. Do I wait for him to come home and ask him about it? Do I call him right now? Do I look through our credit card statements to see what else he's been hiding? And I decide to check the credit card because I need to know. I need to know if there are other charges I don't know about. Other secrets he's been keeping. So I log into our joint account online and I start scrolling through the transactions. And at first everything looks normal. Grocery stores, gas stations, the usual stuff. But then I see it. I see charge after charge to restaurants I've never been to, stores I've never shopped at. And not just 1 or 2. There are dozens of them. Hundreds of them actually, and I start adding them up in my head and I realize Marcus has spent thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, on things I know nothing about. And I feel like I'm going to throw up. I feel physically sick. Because this isn't just about the necklace anymore. This is about months and months of secret spending, months of lies. And I don't understand how I didn't notice. How I didn't see these charges on our statements. But then I remember Marcus is the one who manages our finances. He's the one who pays the bills and checks the statements and tells me how much money we have. I just transfer my half of the bills to T. He account every month and trust that he's handling everything. And now I'm realizing he's been hiding things from me. He's been spending our money on something or someone and I had no idea. You're probably thinking I should have been checking the statements myself, and you're right. I should have. I was too trusting. I believed Marcus when he said he'd take care of the finances. I believed we were partners working towards shared goals. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. And I'm angry at myself for being so naive. For not paying attention. For letting him control everything while I just went along with it like a fool. I hear Marcus's car pull into the driveway and my stomach drops. I'm not ready for this conversation. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I know I have to confront him. I have to ask him about the receipt. So I smooth it out and put it on the coffee table and I wait. I sit there on the couch with my heart pounding and my hands shaking and Bailey sitting next to me, probably sensing that something's wrong. Dogs know these things, you know. They can sense when their humans are upset and when Marcus walks in the front door. He's sweaty from the gym and he's smiling. And he says, "Hey babe, how was your day?" And I don't say anything. I just point at the receipt on the table. And he looks at it and his smile disappears. His face goes pale. And he says, "Where did you get that?" And I say, "Bailey found it in your gym bag." "What is this, Marcus? What is this $5,000 charge for a necklace I never got?" And he just stands there frozen for a second and then he says, "Oh that, yeah, I can explain." And I'm like, "I'm waiting, explain it." And he says, "It's a surprise. I was going to give it to you for our anniversary." And I say, "Our anniversary is in a month, Marcus. Why would you buy it 2 weeks ago? Why is the receipt crumpled up in your gym bag? Why didn't you hide it somewhere better? If it was supposed to be a surprise," and he's stuttering now. He's like, I just wanted to have it ready. I was excited. I bought it early." And I'm like, "That doesn't make sense. You never buy me jewelry. Why? You always say jewelry is a waste of money. Why would you suddenly spend $5,000 on a necklace?" And he says, "Because I wanted to do something special. I wanted to show you how much I love you." And I'm like, "By hiding it from me? By not telling me about this huge purchase on our joint credit card?" And he's getting defensive now. He's like, "Why are you making this into a big deal? I bought you a gift. You should be happy." And I say, "I'm not happy, Marcus. I'm confused. I'm suspicious. This doesn't feel right." This is probably gonna sound crazy, but I did something I've never done before. I asked him to see his phone. I said, "If you're telling the truth, then you won't mind showing me your phone right now." And his reaction, oh my god, his reaction told me everything I needed to know. He grabbed his phone and held it to his chest and said, "No, absolutely not. That's an invasion of privacy." And I said, "Partners don't have privacy when it comes to infidelity, Marcus. If you're hiding something, I have a right to know." And he said, "I'm not hiding anything. I just don't like the idea of you going through my phone. It's a trust thing." And I'm like, "A trust thing? You spent $5,000 on a necklace I never got and you're talking about trust. Give me your phone or I'm leaving. I'm packing a bag and going to my sister's house right now." And he hesitates. He looks at his phone and then at me and then back at his phone and I can see him calculating, trying to figure out if he has time to delete anything. Gee, and I say, "Don't even think about it. Give it to me right now." And finally he hands it over and I open it and I start looking. I go to his messages first and I don't see anything suspicious. Just texts with me and his mom and his coworkers, nothing weird. So I check his call log and again nothing unusual and I'm starting to think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he really did buy me a necklace and I'm being paranoid. But then I check his Instagram. I open Instagram and I go to his search history and I see he's been looking at this one account over and over. This woman's account. And I click on it and it's a coworker of his. Her name is Vanessa. She works in his department. And I start scrolling through her photos and that's when I see it. That's when I see the photo from 2 weeks ago. The exact date on the receipt and she's wearing a necklace. This beautiful silver necklace with a pendant. And the caption says #MyNewLove, #feelingblessed, #Pandora. And I just stare at the screen. I can't breathe, I can't move because I know that's the necklace Marcus bought. That's where my $5,000 went. He bought it for her, for his coworker, for this woman who's probably half my age and gorgeous and everything I'm not. And Marcus is standing there watching me and he says, What did you find?" And I turn the phone around and show him the photo and I say, "Is this the necklace you bought? Is this where our money went?" And he tries to grab the phone but I pull it away and I say, "Answer me, Marcus. Did you buy Vanessa this necklace?" And he says, "It's not what you think." And I say, "Then what is it? Explain it to me." And he says, "Okay, fine. Yes, I bought it for her. But it's not romantic. She's going through a hard time and I wanted to cheer her up." And I'm like, "You spent $5,000 of our money to cheer up your coworker. Do you hear how insane that sounds?" And he says, "It's complicated. You don't understand." And I say, "Then make me understand. Marcus, tell me why you bought another woman a $5,000 necklace and lied to me about it." Can I just say, and maybe the platform won't like this language, but I have to be honest. She was so young, so pretty. so everything that society says is desirable. And seeing her wearing that necklace, knowing Marcus spent our money on her, it made me feel worthless. It made me feel like I'd wasted 7 years of my life with a man who was just using me, who was playing house with me while investing in someone else. And I hate that I felt that way. I hate that I compared myself to her, but I did. I couldn't help it, and I'm sure some of you watching this have felt the same way, have seen the other woman and thought, why her? What does she have that I don't? And it hurts. It hurts so bad. I can't even describe it. So if you've been there, if you know what this feels like, comment below and let me know. I'm not alone in this. Marcus finally sits down and he puts his head in his hands and he says, okay, I'll tell you everything. Vanessa and I have been seeing each other for about 8 months. We're not sleeping together. I swear we're not, but we're close. We're really close. We talk every day. We have lunch together. We text constantly, and I bought her that necklace because she mentioned she wanted one and I wanted to make her happy. And I'm like, 8 months. You've been doing this for 8 months, and he nods and says yes, but it's not an affair. We're just friends. And I say friends don't spend $5,000 on each other, Marcus. Friends don't hide their relationship from their partners. You've been emotionally cheating on me for 8 months and you're trying to tell me it's not a big deal. And he says, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Linda. I never meant for it to go this far. I never meant to hurt you. And I say, but you did hurt me. You spent our money on her. Money we were supposed to be saving for our future, for a house, for a wedding that you kept saying we couldn't afford. But apparently we can afford $5,000 necklaces for your coworker. And he doesn't have a response to that. He just sits there looking guilty, and I say, I want to see the credit card statements. I want to see every charge you've made for the past year. And he says, why? And I say, because I don't trust you anymore. Because I need to know what else you've been hiding from me. He gets his laptop and pulls up our credit card account. And we start going through the statements together. And what I find is devastating. Absolutely devastating. Over the past 8 months, Marcus has spent $47,000 on Vanessa, on dinners at expensive restaurants, on gifts, on trips to hotels. And I say, I thought you weren't sleeping with her. And he says, we're not. The hotels were for conferences, for work trips. And I say, work trips that our insurance doesn't cover, that you paid for out of pocket. And he says she couldn't afford them, so I helped her. And I'm like, you helped her to the tune of $47,000. Well, I've been paying half of all our bills, even though you make more money than me. While I've been doing all the housework and cooking and dealing with your mother's constant drama. While I've been waiting for you to propose and commit to me. You've been spending almost $50,000 on another woman, and he says, when you put it like that, it sounds really bad. And I say, it is really bad, Marcus. It's the worst thing you could have done. You've been living a double life. You've been pretending to be my committed partner while pursuing someone else, and I'm done. I'm so done with you. And he says, wait, we can work this out. I'll stop seeing Vanessa. I'll cut off all contact with her. I'll do whatever you want. And I say, it's too late. You made your choice when you spent $47,000 on her instead of on us, and I start crying. I'm full on sobbing now because the reality is hitting me. The reality that my 7-year relationship is over. That the man I thought I was building a life with was building a different life with someone else. And it hurts. Oh my God, it hurts so much. But that's not even the worst part. That's not even the thing that finally made me pack my bags and leave. Because while I'm sitting there crying, Marcus says, there's something else you should know. And I say, what? What else could there possibly be? And he says, I took out a second mortgage on the house without telling you. And I'm like, what? And he says, I needed money. I needed more money than what I was making. So I took out a second mortgage 6 months ago. And I say, how much? And he says, $8,000. And my blood runs cold. I feel like I've been dumped in ice water. Because we're in debt. We're $80,000 in debt because of Marcus's affair. Because of his spending on Vanessa. And I say, we could lose the house. We could lose everything because of you. And he says, I know, I'm sorry. I'll figure it out. I'll pay it back. And I say, with what money, Marcus? How are you going to pay back $80,000? And he doesn't have an answer. He just sits there looking miserable while I'm having a full panic attack, hyperventilating, thinking about how we're going to lose the house. How I'm going to have to start over from nothing. How my credit is going to be ruined. How everything I've worked for is going to disappear because Marcus couldn't keep it in his pants. Because Marcus decided some young coworker was more important than his 7-year relationship. And I'm angry. I'm so angry I can barely see straight. Sorry, I'm stopping the recording quick. Someone just rang the doorbell. Let me go check who it is. Okay, I'm back. It was just a package delivery. So where was I? Oh right, I was talking about the second mortgage. So Marcus took out $80,000 against our house. Our house that I've been paying half the mortgage on for 5 years, and he used that money to fund his relationship with Vanessa, to take her on trips, to buy her gifts, to wine and dine her while I was at home eating leftover and budgeting every penny because I thought we were saving money. And the betrayal, the sheer audacity of it, I can't even put into words how much it hurts, how much it makes me feel like I never knew him at all, like the man I loved for 7 years was a complete stranger. I asked Marcus to show me everything, every transaction, every text, every email, everything related to Vanessa, and he did. He showed me all of it because at that point he had nothing left to hide. And what I found was that he'd been buying Vanessa's kids presents too. She has 2 kids from a previous relationship, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, and Marcus had been playing stepdad, buying them Christmas presents, birthday presents, taking them to theme parks, and I'm thinking we don't have kids. We've talked about having kids, but Marcus always said we needed to wait until we were more financially stable, until we'd paid off more debt, until we'd saved more money. But apparently we had money to spend on someone else's kids. Apparently financial stability wasn't an issue when it came to Vanessa's family, and I'm so hurt. I'm so unbelievably hurt by this because it shows me that Marcus could have committed. He could have built a family. He just didn't want to do it with me, He wanted to do it with her, and that's the hardest truth to swallow, the truth that I wasn't enough. That I was just a placeholder until someone better came along. I truly believe that God puts certain people and animals in our lives for a reason, and Bailey bringing me that receipt, that was divine intervention. That was the universe telling me I needed to wake up and see what was really going on. Because without Bailey I might never have found out. Marcus might have kept hiding his affair and his spending and his second mortgage until it was too late, until we'd lost everything. But Bailey saved me. My sweet Labrador mix saved me from wasting any more tea. Me with a man who didn't value me, who didn't respect me, who didn't love me the way I deserved to be loved. And I'll be forever grateful to him for that. Forever grateful that he has this weird obsession with paper that led him to that gym bag that led him to that receipt that changed my entire life. I left that night. I packed a bag with essentials and I went to my sister's house and I stayed there for a week while I tried to figure out what to do. And during that week Marcus kept texting me, kept calling me, saying he was sorry, saying he loved me, saying he wanted to work things out, but I couldn't go back to him after what he'd done, after the lies and the spending and the second mortgage. It was too much, it was too big a betrayal, and I knew if I went back I'd never be able to trust him again. I'd always be wondering if he was texting Vanessa, if he was spending money on her, if he was lying to me about something else. And that's no way to live. That's no way to have a relationship, so I decided to end it. I decided to leave permanently, and I found my own apartment, a small 1-bedroom place that I could afford on my own, and I moved out. I took Bailey and my stuff and I moved out and I started over. The legal stuff has been complicated because we own the house together. We both signed the mortgage, and now there's a second mortgage that I didn't agree to, and my lawyer says I might be able to fight that. I might be able to prove I didn't consent to the loan and get my name removed from it, but it's going to take time. It's going to be expensive. And in the meantime, I'm still liable for half the debt even though I didn't benefit from any of it. Even though every penny of that $80,000 ND went to Marcus's affair. And it's not fair. It's so unfair, but that's life. That's what happens when you trust the wrong person. When you let someone else control your finances. When you don't pay attention to what's going on in your own relationship. And I've learned my lesson. I've learned to be more careful, to be more aware, to never again let someone have complete control over my financial future. Marcus and I are no longer together, obviously. We've been broken up for 6 months now, and in that time I've learned so much about myself, about what I want, about what I deserve. And I've realized I deserve better. I deserve someone who will buy me a $5,000 necklace, not his coworker. Someone who will propose and commit instead of making excuses for 7 years. Someone who will share the housework and the emotional labor instead of leaving everything to me. Someone who won't let their mother dictate our relationship. Someone who will actually be a partner instead of just playing house. And I'm not settling for less anymore. I'm done settling. I'm done accepting crumbs from men who should be giving me the whole loaf. And if that means I'm single for a while, if that means I'm alone, then that's okay. That's better than being with someone who makes me feel alone even when we're together. I'm working on my finances, I'm paying off my half of the debts, I'm rebuilding my credit, I'm saving money in an account that only I have access to, and I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to therapy to process the betrayal and the anger and the grief of losing what I thought was a solid relationship, and it's helping. It's really helping. I'm starting to feel like myself again, starting to feel like I have value beyond what I can provide to a man, and that's something I lost during my relationship with Marcus, that sense of self-worth, that belief that I was enough just as I was. But I'm getting it back, slowly but surely, and I'm proud of myself for that. Proud that I had the strength to leave. Proud that I'm rebuilding my life instead of staying in a situation that was destroying me. Bailey is still with me, of course. I got to keep him in the breakup. Marcus didn't even fight me for him, and Bailey's doing great. He's still bringing me random pieces of paper, still wagging his tail and being the best boy, and every time he brings me something I think about that receipt, that $5,000 receipt that changed everything, and I give him extra treats, extra belly rubs. I tell him he's a good boy, the best boy, my hero, and he just looks at me with those sweet dog eyes, and he wags his tail, and I know he has no idea what he did. No idea that he saved me from a lifetime of being undervalued and taken advantage of, but I know what he did, and I'll never forget it. If you're in a relationship where you feel like you're not being valued, where your partner is making you feel like you're not enough, where you're constantly giving and never receiving, please listen to me, please hear what I'm saying. You deserve better. You deserve someone who will treat you like a priority, who will invest in your relationship the way Marcus invested in his affair. You deserve honesty and respect and commitment. And if you're not getting those things, then maybe it's time to reevaluate, maybe it's time to leave, and I know that's scary. I know the thought of starting over is terrifying, but I promise you it's worth it. I promise you that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel small, who makes you feel like you're not worthy of love, because you are worthy. We all are, and we all deserve partners who see that worth and honor it. Have any of you dealt with a demanding mother-in-law or future mother-in-law who made your relationship harder, who always caused drama and your partner always took their side? Comment below, because I want to know. I'm not the only one who dealt with that. I want to know other people understand how exhausting it is to constantly compete with your partner's parent for their attention and loyalty, because that was a huge part of my relationship with Marcus. His mother always came first, her needs always took priority over mine, and I put up with it for 7 years thinking that's what good partners do. But it's not. Partners should put each other first, should create boundaries with their families to protect their relationship. And Marcus never did that. He never stood up for me, never told his mother she needed to back off. And that was a red flag I ignored. A red flag that should have told me he wasn't ready to be in an adult committed relationship. But I ignored it because I loved him, because I wanted it to work, and now I know better. Now I know that love isn't enough if it's one-sided, if you're the only one trying, the only one sacrificing, the only one compromising. I saw Vanessa once after I moved out. I ran into her at a coffee shop downtown, and she was wearing the necklace. She was wearing my $5,000 necklace, and we made eye contact, and she looked away quickly, and I just stood there staring at her, thinking about everything that necklace represents, all the lies, all the money, all the betrayal, and I wanted to walk over there and rip it off her neck. I wanted to tell her that necklace cost me 7 years of my life, cost me my home, cost me my sense of security, but I didn't. I just walked out of the coffee shop and got in my car and cried. I cried for the relationship I lost, for the future I thought I was building, for the woman I used to be who would have accepted this treatment, who would have blamed herself instead of him, and I cried because even though I'm healing, even though I'm moving forward, it still hurts. It's still painful to see physical evidence of Marcus's betrayal, to see this woman wearing something that should have been mine, or shouldn't have existed at all if Marcus had been faithful. Marcus tried to contact me a few times after I moved out. He sent me long texts saying he missed me, saying he made a mistake, saying he wanted another chance, but I never responded. I blocked his number and his social media, and I cut him out of my life completely because I knew if I gave him an opening, he'd try to worm his way back in. He'd try to convince me that things would be different this time, that he'd change, that he'd be better. But I don't believe him. I can't believe him after every thing he did, and I'm not going to waste any more of my time on a man who proved over and over again that I wasn't his priority, that I wasn't enough for him. So I blocked him and I moved on, and I haven't looked back since. My sister has been amazing through all of this. She let me stay with her when I first left Marcus. She helped me find my apartment. She helped me move. She's been my rock, my support system. And I don't know what I would have done without her. Probably would have gone back to Marcus out of fear or loneliness or some misguided belief that I couldn't do better, but she reminded me of my worth. She reminded me that I deserve a partner who treats me well, who values me, who doesn't spend our money and other women, and she's been right there with me every step of the way. And I'm so grateful for her. So grateful to have family who actually shows up when you need them instead of causing drama and making everything about themselves like Marcus's mother did. Everything happens for a reason. That's what I truly believe. Even the painful things. Even the things that feel like they're destroying us in the moment. They happen for a reason. They happen to teach us something. To redirect us toward a better path. And this breakup, this betrayal, it taught me so much about myself, about what I will and won't accept, about my own strength and resilience, about my ability to start over and build a life on my own terms. And even though it was painful, even though there were days I didn't think I'd survive the grief and anger and hurt, I did survive. I'm surviving. I'm thriving even, and that's something Marcus can never take away from me. My ability to rise from the ashes and rebuild. My ability to look at a devastating situation and find the lessons, find the growth, find the silver lining. The house is in the process of being sold. We're going to split whatever equity is left after paying off both mortgages, which won't be much, but it'll be something. And then I'll be completely free of Marcus, completely free of that chapter of my life. And I can close that door and move forward without any ties to him, without any financial obligations connecting us, and that will feel good. That will feel like true freedom, like the final step in my healing process. And I'm looking forward to looking forward to the day when I can say I'm completely done with Marcus, completely over him, completely moved on, and I'm almost there. I'm so close. Just a few more months and the house will be sold and I'll have my share of the money and I'll be free. Bailey is the real hero of this story. He's the one who brought me that receipt. He's the one who exposed Marcus's lies. And even though he didn't know what he was doing, even though he was just being a dog who likes paper, he saved me. He saved me from wasting more years with a man who didn't deserve me, who was using me while building a life with someone else, and I will be forever grateful to him, forever in his debt. So I spoil him now, I buy him the good treats, I take him to the dog park very weekend, I let him sleep in my bed, even though he takes up most of the space. And I tell him every day that he's a good boy, the best boy, my hero. And he just wags his tail and licks my face. And looks at me with those sweet eyes, and I know he understands. I know he knows how much I love him, how much I appreciate what he did for me even if it was an accident. To everyone watching this, to everyone who's been through something similar, who's discovered their partner was cheating or lying or spending money on someone else, I want you to know, you're not alone. I want you to know that you can survive this, you can get through it. You can rebuild your life and find happiness again. It's possible. I'm living proof that it's possible, and if I can do it then so can you, so don't give up. Don't let the pain and betrayal destroy you. Use it as fuel, use it as motivation to create a better life for yourself. A life where you're valued and respected and loved the way you deserve to be loved. Because that's what we all deserve. That's what we're all worthy of, and anyone who can't see that doesn't deserve us. Pray for me as I finish closing this chapter of my life, as I sell the house and divide the assets and say goodbye to 7 years of memories. Both good and bad. Pray that I find peace, that I find healing, that I find love again when I'm ready. Love with someone who will actually cherish me, who will buy me the necklace, instead of buying it for someone else, who will propose instead of making excuses, who will be a true partner instead of just playing house. Pray for all of us who've been betrayed. Who've been lied to, who've been made to feel like we're not enough. Pray that we find our worth, that we recognize our value, that we demand better from the people we let into our lives. Because we all deserve better, every single one of us, and I believe that now. I really truly believe it, and that belief is what's going to carry me forward, what's going to help me build a beautiful life on my own terms. A life where I'm the priority, where I'm the main character, where I'm enough just as I am. Thank you, Bailey. Thank you for being my hero. Thank you for bringing me that receipt that changed my life. Thank you for being the best dog, the goodest boy, my partner in this new chapter. I love you so much, buddy. You saved me and I'll never forget it, never ever. And to everyone watching, thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support and your comments and your prayers. It means everything to me, truly, and I hope my story helps someone out there. Ray. Alizé, they deserve better. Realize they can leave. Realize they can start over and be okay. Be better than okay. Be happy. Because that's what I'm working toward. That's what I'm building. Happiness on my own terms, and it's going to be beautiful. I just know it.